Hello, this is Kate Scott, and I'm chair of the Pastor Nominating Committee. And I wanted to take a few minutes to just walk you through the results of our recent Pastoral Priorities Congregational survey. We conducted this survey to get input from all of you on the skills and attributes that we would like our next pastor to have. And we conducted the survey between March 14th and March 24th, and 76 of you participated. So thank you so much to all of you who took the time to do that. We asked you about the strengths that are important to have in our next pastor, knowing that no one person will be equally strong in all of these areas. And as a reminder, the rating scale went from 1 being not important up to 5 being very important. And the results here are in rank order of importance. So very important, not surprisingly, is to have a strong theological and spiritual interpreter, a compassionate caretaker, spiritual maturity, and visionary leadership. Also very important is having someone who's external focused and a strong staff leader. Lower on the rating scale, but still not unimportant, include strong administration and being tech savvy. We also asked you to rate on a continuum the types of attributes that our next pastor should have. So someone on the left side would be earlier in their career, and someone on the right side would be later in their career. And the bar graphs represent how many people selected each point along this continuum. So you can see most people fell kind of somewhere in the middle. We also asked about a pastor who is very visionary versus someone who's a more steady hand. And here you can see there's a little more leaning toward the visionary side. We also asked about how flexible or steadfast the next pastor should be. And here you can see a pretty strong preference for someone who would be flexible. We also asked about someone who would be very big-hearted and empathetic versus somebody who's very level-headed and pragmatic. And here again, a little bit towards the middle, but a little more towards the left side. And finally, a harmonizer versus a driver. And here you see the most variation in what people selected, but a little bit, again, towards the harmonizer side, but most people falling somewhere in between. And finally, we asked you if you had any other thoughts that you would like to share with us. And 42 of you shared a written response. So again, thank you. On the PNC, we read all of the comments and talked about them and found them very insightful. Some of the themes that we heard, first of all, a number of you expressed appreciation for the PNC's work and for having this survey. So thank you for that. We also heard a lot of people expressing an openness to having a non-straight white male pastor. Also, a desire for a pastor who will challenge the status quo and push us to try new things and help us grow the church. We also heard about a need for compassionate engagement with the congregation as we emerge from COVID. A number of people mentioned having a sense of humor, energy, and playfulness. And people talked about the importance of worship, music, benediction, and incorporating the youth. And finally, someone who can appreciate and connect with all members and attendees of the church. So I want to thank you again for taking the survey. And also I wanted to highlight a couple of other inputs that we are using as we are developing our ministry information form. So we built upon the great work done by the Transition Committee and reviewed the cottage meeting summaries and their mission study. We also met with Ted Chern and Lynn Stahl from the New Hope Presbytery. We met with our Transition Committee to get more of their insights. We met with the youth group. We've met with Troy, Karen, and Joanne, all individually. And we also recently had a meeting with the Adult Sunday School, plus some individual conversations that we've had with people who have reached out to us. So I want to thank everyone who has participated in sharing your insights and ideas and hopes for the future with us. And of course, we're using prayer to help guide us in our process. So what's next? We are working on finalizing the ministry information form, which will be submitted to potential candidates so they can review it and apply for the position. And we hope that in May and June, we'll be reviewing candidates. So it's a very exciting time, and we would just like to thank you. And don't hesitate to reach out to any of us with any questions or comments that you'd like to share. Thanks so much.